My buddy Mario and I are working on a new project. It's over on his channel, but I'm going to share with you part one. Be sure to subscribe to MR Unlimited for the rest of this hybrid build. Check it out.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Let's actually give it a name for the channel. Project Yamazo.
Probably YZ Hybrid.
Yeah.
Most generic way to put it.
Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing a YZ build. Dirt bike engine in the four-wheeler chassis. We're building it for Devin Jensen. He's going to be racing multiple series this summer. So April 1st starts what? District 6?
Yep, that's the first race of District 6.
And then it goes for 12 races?
12 weeks. There's 12 rounds.
And then you're going to integrate?
Some nationals in between.
And then what, District 3 or?
Yep, on the off weeks, hit the local District 3s, the USMX.
Okay.
Just for practice, you know.
This should be a pretty awesome project. And it should really get you where you need to be as far as power and you know, machine goes. So I'm sure it's going to be really killer. We're the 26th of December, 2022. First stage here is we just got the engine back from the engine builder. I have to fit the engine, I have to weld in a lower engine bracket, and we have to get everything laid out, all the electronics, the air intake. We're going to do a fan kit. Want to get everything up and running, and then we're going to pull it all back apart, and he's going to bring it to powder coat. I'm hoping for that time frame we're into no more than the middle of January, so that he can get it out and try to get it returned back to me before the end of February, and then we're going to assemble it, and hopefully everything goes well at that point, which I'm sure it will. Today's goal was just to lay out everything, make sure we have everything. Whatever we don't have, make a parts list, which we've already got to, and now it's just making sure we look over the chassis. If there's any issues with it, cracks, just try to get ahead of it before we attempt to put it together. And I want to make sure I get everything handled before I rip it back down and he goes to powder coat with it. We don't want to discover an issue after that. So the chassis is a 2012 YFZR 450. The engine's a 2020 YZ 450F. The reason that this is all happening, one of the major reasons, is that a stock YFZ 450 is probably in the neighborhood of 45-ish horsepower, probably 42. These stock are in the neighborhood of the mid-50s to almost 60. Some stuff has been done to this one. We don't know numbers entirely. We project, you know, low 60s to mid-60s. So it's quite a bit of difference. They're more compact. The transmissions hold up well, even though there's really no issue with a YFZR transmission, but they work good, more compact, lighter, less rotating mass, they spool quicker, power to weight ratio is really good, and should make for a really fun machine.
All these big jumps are all commitment. I mean, you don't need a huge motor, but low end, out of corners, hole shots, you know, to get out front faster, you need a bigger motor.
And you'll get that with this.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking to do big things with this big girl right here.
This should help them with the torque coming out of the corners to help with jumps like that. We're going to be removing these brackets and installing this lower bracket in its place. Really impressed with the RP Race kit. It looks like it's going to go right together pretty well. There is a couple of things underneath here that need to be ground out. This frame piece gets replaced.
I don't think they really think everybody that buys this is going to go right to the track like a dirt bike.
Yeah, they don't purpose build one.
You buy a YZ 450F dirt bike, 9 times out of 10 it's going to the track.
Yeah.
Like instant. They can compete at any level with
The
this.
technology keeps advancing with the dirt bike. It doesn't keep advancing with this. From 2013 to 22, if anything, with the YFZR 450, they've detuned them in comparison to like an 09 and 12. Probably due to emissions and things like that for here in the States. So this whole project is going to be a completely different animal than what he's used to. So we need to modify the swing arm. The engine sits into here. This spacer needs to go inside of this. So we need to trim back approximately an inch. There's a measurement in the kit instructions.
It'll relatively sit in the same location that the ATV engine was supposed to.
It'll be very close. There is some things at the top that have to be modified in order for the cam cover to fit. The biggest, I think there's a lot of benefits, but the biggest downfall of this whole thing is once this is in the chassis, you can't do any engine work to it because the cam cover can't even come off. So you can't do a top end, you can't do anything, you have to pull the engine out. Now, with that being said, it comes out fairly easy. Underneath this area here has to be ground out, but the cam cover sits underneath and it won't allow the cam cover to come up if you ever had to pull it out. So you have to unbolt and take the engine out of it in order to service it. So that is a downfall. Other than that, I think there's a lot of upsides. Maybe in the future somebody comes out with something a bit better. Maybe, you know, cut this section out, reinforce it a different way so you can get the cam cover out, but time will tell there. So this is the upper rear engine mount. It bolts to the top of the frame section. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this attaches into there, and this one attaches on that side opposite of the other one. So this upper frame spar on the left hand side needs to be removed. This gets put in its place. It allows for more room for the engine to sit. When this gets all ground out, this now, because this is also has to be removed, this will give it the support when it reattaches on the backside. If you're a C rider or a trail rider, this is not your kit.
No.
If you're a good B level rider moving into the A, Pro Sport, Pro, that's where it becomes. Pro level is a little tricky depending on where you're racing because they won't allow it because it is a hybrid, not production. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna, part 2 will be, we're gonna continue on to get the engine all lined in and make sure that we have everything put in place. We want to make sure that we have everything up and running before we tear it down for powder coat. I want to be able to get this thing back, assemble it, and be confident this thing is going to run and Devin can pick it up. Thanks for tuning in. Stick around for part 2.
It sound right, boy.